Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today is Shardeum Foundation's Q4 update. Every quarter, we present progress we made the prior quarter on our mission to enable decentralization for everyone. We envision a world where you and I can interact directly over the internet without any middleman owning or controlling our relationship. A world where people in emerging markets suffering from inflation have access to a global decentralized financial ecosystem. And this presentation brings us one step closer towards building a layer one that can enable decentralization for everyone and keep transaction fees low, no matter how many transactions there are. My name is Greg Hemmer. I'm the head of ecosystem at Shardeum and excited to go through this presentation with you today. So today we'll be covering a few updates on the business side of the Shardeum Foundation. We'll discuss some marketing and business updates with you, as well as progress that we've made in the ecosystem growth, and share a few tech milestones with you as well. We'll talk about some exciting updates we have coming over the next few weeks and the remainder of this quarter. And we're really excited to introduce you to Shardeum's upcoming Betanet. We'll be demonstrating a feature called automated access list generation, which helps retain atomic composability in a sharded environment. We'll also give you a tour of the node operator GUI, allowing you to easily run your own validator. And we'll end the call with a brief question and answer section. Thank you so much. And with that, I would like to introduce our co-founder, Nishal Shetty.
Thanks, Greg. Hey, everyone. Great to be here. I was just having a look at the YouTube session that's going on. I can see over 600 people have joined in. And this time we started on time. So, yay to that. I just wanted to run you through some of the marketing updates. If you've been part of the Shardeum community, and if you're in India, I'm hoping you must have attended one of these proof of community meetups. We started this initiative some time back, and it's been wildly successful. It's been growing rapidly. In the last 3 months, we've had over 18 meetups, and we've seen over 1,500 participants. And this number keeps increasing. Our objective is to keep increasing the number of proof of community events we do every month, and also scale it over time to other countries. We've also held 15 developer workshops and 3 campus webinars and seminars. In December, we conducted the largest proof of community event during ETH India in Bangalore. We had over 2,500 registrations for that event. Though our venue size was really small, we could only accommodate about 300 or so participants. But yeah, we saw over 2,500 registrations for that event. I think it was one of the largest side events during ETH India. Followed by, after that, we, in our effort to scale the whole proof of community globally, we had our first ever international proof of community meetup that happened in Nigeria. The idea is to, experiment with proof of community globally and learn from, running these experiments and then eventually scale. So we do intend to have a lot more meetups in Nigeria and over time in other countries. If you're in a country where you think you can help us run these proof of community events, please reach out to us. We would be happy to collaborate and help you run the proof of community in your respective countries. We did something interesting with proof of community. We had a event in a train, and this happened on the 1st of Jan. I think it's probably the first ever Web3 meetup inside a train. And the idea is to have more such meetups in different modes of transport over time. Maybe we can have a meetup in an airplane someday. But yeah, this was a really different initiative. And I think it happened in probably 2 or 3 days. It wasn't really planned. So someone came up with this idea. We got to work at it, and within a couple of days, the event was organized and it happened successfully. One of the campaigns that we ran, which was very interesting in the quarter, was the auto scaling. This was during ETH India in Bangalore. And if you happen to be from Bangalore, you realize that getting an auto rickshaw is really difficult in Bangalore. And if you happen to get someone to agree to drop you somewhere, they'll usually charge you more than what they're supposed to. So not only did we offer auto rickshaw rides in Bangalore during the ETH India events, but we also kept it free. And the reception for that was really beyond our expectations. We saw over 3,285 people taking the auto rides to and from the events. The autos traveled over 16,670 kilometers. I think on social media, I think Shardeum trended because of this. So kudos to that. Speaking of our community has been growing really rapidly. We've got over 300,000 community members now, who are helping us build Shardeum, helping us grow Shardeum. We have over 100 plus contributors. Contributors are those who help with different initiatives like meetups, blogs. If you see the Shardeum blog, for example, it's not just written by the team members of Shardeum, it's written by the community. So if you're part of the community, I would encourage you to contribute and become a contributor. What I think apart from that, we've also have been running this initiative called Shardeum Leagues. The objective is to get all of you to create your own communities of Shardeum. And these communities can be anything. You could have communities which are specific to your country, or you could have, like, for example, we've got Shardeum Memes, which is a very interesting, Twitter account where they share some interesting memes. So the team devised this initiative to help you create your own Shardeum communities, and we're always here to help you grow those communities. Speaking about communities, we've also seen growth in the international community around Shardeum. So we've got Shardeum in Turkey, Shardeum in Russia, Ukraine, China, Japan, Italy, Spain, a lot of countries, and we hope to see more such communities being created. Let's move on to some of these metrics. I think one of the amazing things is it's all green, and in a bear market, it's really hard to keep things green. So I'm really glad to see this slide, and we got in some amazing growth. But the best growth is if you see the Discord numbers. We've crossed over. The slide is a little old. It says 170, but I think we've crossed over 180,000 members on our Discord, and it's a very active community. So if you're not part of the Discord channel, I would say strongly suggest go and join it. You can learn a lot. Everyone's helping each other. You can meet a lot of people, like-minded people on the Discord community. We've seen a tremendous growth in our website traffic. We've seen over 500,000 visitors in the last 60 to 70 days. Our Twitter followers is also something which has crossed over 100,000 followers now. And I think we need to work a little more harder on our Telegram channel. We've not really focused on that. So maybe the next quarter we'll try to get those number up. It's grown well, but I think when you see the other numbers, I think we need to have tens of thousands of community members in every platform that we exist. So we'll definitely work harder on that part. I think I'm done with my update.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Nishal. Great updates, and love to see all green. Let's keep those numbers green. Next up, I would like to introduce our Head of Partnerships and Operations, Shahzad Nathani, as well as our VP of People, Jeremy Holloman. Take it away, Shahzad.
Thank you very much, Greg. Wonderful being here for this quarterly update. We have had tremendous amount of traction in the last quarter, and some of it has been just unbelievable. I was in India for ETH India, and the grassroots level support which we saw was just unbelievable. I mean, literally each member of our team was treated like a rock star, and that is in a bear market. So I can't imagine what we will be like in a bull market. As part of our partnerships, we have been talking to a lot of people getting Web2 projects to move on to Web3, but some of the interesting ones which we have onboarded right now have been, we've got two major decentralized validator pools, namely Zeev and Logan nodes, coming on board. We have looked at major games, and one of them has already come on board called Born to Die, which is, very, very happy to be part of our project. We've looked at NFT-based fractionalized real estate and onboarding three of them, Zoth, Lucrisma, and Realto. We've also looked at projects which are ecologically friendly, and Earth Guardians is one such project which basically empowers people to find uh, wildlife and flora and fauna which is going extinct, and they basically make micropayments to people across the world. So that's somebody who's come on board. Uh, in terms of NFT projects, we're talking to an organization called Wow Talkies, which has alliances with very major studios. Can't name them right now, but we'll do that when they announce the project's completion. And in terms of uh, Shardeum itself, we want Shardeum to be a zero carbon neutral project as an L1, and we are in talks with about 3 projects who will help us, go that route. We have been actively participating in various conferences. LA Blockchain was another one which we were part of, and the response again was phenomenal there as well. So upwards and onwards we move, and I hand over to Jeremy, who will talk about our HR activities.
Hello, thank you, Shazad. Exciting stuff there. Nice to meet a lot of new faces here. It sounds like we have a lot of great people joining us today, watching on the YouTube live stream. I'm Jeremy Holloman, our head of people, and we made a lot of great progress over this last quarter. We are now at a total team size of 42, which means we've onboarded 7 people since we last met, and really just kind of scaling the foundation across all different types of functional areas, including finance, business development, partnership, ecosystem, community, and of course, engineering. We'll definitely, over the next, 3 months or so, we'll start to release a lot of new roles, exciting new roles here at Shardeum. So please stay tuned and check out our careers page often. And we have a few fun announcements of things we've just launched. We just started a public blogging campaign that will be on the Shardeum blog from People Ops about building Web3 People Ops in public. So as we start to do our own way of building HR, People Ops, talent acquisition, we'll give you a direct insight into how we're doing that, and would love to have everybody's feedback as we live OCC through that. And one big fun announcement that I'll tease a little bit here, but we just hired our first chief marketing officer. Super excited about that. More details and an announcement to come from our marketing team in the coming month. But that's something we're all very excited about. And Greg, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy, and great work on all the hiring. Really appreciate the opportunity to work with such amazing talent at Shardeum Foundation. All thanks to you, Jeremy. We've had a lot of exciting growth in the ecosystem over the past quarter. As the community continues to grow and, we get closer and closer to mainnet, projects are becoming more excited about building on Shardeum. Today, there's 125 projects actively building on Shardeum or already live and deployed on our testnets. We're really excited about some native applications in our ecosystem like Shardeum swapped finance, chain hash, and many others, as well as existing EVM applications that already exist, like Symbiosis Finance and Multi-Chain, and many others. Speaking of multi-chain, we've started to build out the developer tooling and infrastructure ecosystem supporting Shardeum. Multi-chain is the most popular third-party bridge solution by liquidity. They have the highest liquidity in the world of any third-party bridge. We're really excited to be working with Super Oracles, a fast-growing popular Oracle solution that today provides price feeds to developers building on Shardeum, and soon we'll be providing VRF as well as optimistic oracles once the optimistic oracle product is live. It's been great to engage and interact with the IPFS and Filecoin ecosystem. Today, they're the leading file storage company, and it's amazing to be working with companies like Pinata and Lighthouse, to enable developers access to some of the top file storage solutions in Web3 today. We're also really excited about our partnership with Crust Network, another great file storage solution. As Shahzad mentioned, we sponsored the ETH India Hackathon. It's really important to us to provide developers opportunities to learn and earn and grow the Shardeum developer community. We have a big focus on onboarding more developers who are learning Web3 for the first time to the Shardeum ecosystem. And we've been doing a lot of hard work to achieve that mission. We've sponsored ETH India Ultra Hacks Year Hackathon, and we will continue to sponsor more and more hackathons throughout the year. Every month this year, we want to be participating in many hackathons, not just in India, but throughout the world. So please pay attention to our Twitter account and our socials to stay updated on the hackathons we're participating in. I'm really excited about the Shardeum Missions program we've launched, speaking about providing opportunities to developers to learn and earn and grow our developer community. We thought a great way to do that would be to post a weekly coding challenge, and giving developers opportunities to learn new infrastructure products in Web3 and have fun solving a coding challenge while earning money in the process if they're the winning solution. So I think we've done about 7 of them now. The missions has been running for 7 weeks, and we've had just over 700 developers participate in our missions, which is very exciting. We've seen so much engagement on our testnets. We have 2 testnets live today. Over 1.6 million transactions has been verified and executed on them. We have over 445,000 users and wallets on our testnets, all mostly unique users who are excited to be a part of the Shardeum ecosystem and want to test out our technology to experience the low transaction fees and be a part of the community from day one. We've seen a ton of engagement from developers building on Shardeum today. There are 35,000 contracts deployed on the Shardeum testnet. Next up, I would like to introduce our co-founder, Omar Syed, who will be bringing you through some tech updates. Take it away, Omar.
All right, thanks, Greg. If you could switch to the next slide. Yeah. All right. So as you guys probably know from if you've been using our Liberty AlphaNet, we currently have 2 separate networks up. So the one network, Liberty 1.6, is an unsharded network, and the Liberty 2.1 network is sharded. And so the reason why we did that was because the unsharded network will give you a chance to really see how things are on Shardeum without making any changes to your front end or anything like that. But with Liberty 2.1, it's actually a sharded network, and with that, your front ends would need to start supporting EIP 2930 for complex transactions. Simple transactions, like just maybe a token transfer will go through without any problem, but like more complex transactions, you'll need to modify your front end to support EIP 2930. Now, one of the awesome things that we did this quarter was we actually developed automated access list generation so that even if you don't modify your front end, our network will optimistically calculate what that access list should be and still be able to execute that transaction. And we're going to be able demonstrating that for you later today. On our validator front, I know you guys have all been waiting to download and run your own validator and connect up to the network and see what the staking and node reward feels like. So we're getting really close to that. On February 2nd, we'll be launching Betanet, and you'll be able to start running your validators. And with that, we've had to develop a node validator or node operator dashboard. And we'll also be demonstrating that for you in a little bit here. If you can go to the next slide. So there's been a lot of things that we've been working on, and I don't want to go through each one of these like individually, but like, within like the gateway, that's also known as the RPC server. We've made a lot of improvements on querying the network, on how we handle DDoS, also fixed some issues. On the Explorer front, if you've been using the network, you're probably seeing like steady progress on the Explorer being able to show you more and more. Our eventual goal is to have an Explorer that's identical to something like Etherscan, and the community is very welcome to join us in helping build that kind of an Explorer. So that'll be a really interesting project. On the archivers, we've been adding like sharding support on the archivers, fixing DDoS vulnerabilities, doing benchmarks. And then also we've been doing some simulations of our P2P protocols, improving our tools, and working on our node reward policy. And I think during Betanet, we'll be getting the community more involved with that. We have, occasionally we'll have like Shardeum events where we, talk to the community, basically hang out in Discord and talk with the community. So if you can join on those, that'd be awesome. So look out for those. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Greg.
I'm so excited about the automated access list generation feature. Can't wait to watch that demo in just a minute. But first, wanted to share a few updates coming soon. Well, at the end of this call, Omar and Nishal will talk more about Shardeum's Betanet launching on February 2nd. We're all very excited for this, and so much more information to tell you about this at the end of the call. We'll be releasing our white paper very soon. We can't wait for the community, and specifically the developer community, to learn in detail about how the inner workings of Shardeum's technology and its underlying protocol, Shardis's architecture, works. We'll be at many of the major blockchain and Web3 conferences globally coming this quarter. As I mentioned, we will continue to sponsor major hackathons and hopefully also host some hackathons of our own in the near future. We're working really hard on educational courses and content, starting with 101. Shardeum will be launching a 101 course coming soon for developers and the general Web3 community. Of course, we are going to continue to work hard to scale our proof of community meetups. It's really amazing. This month alone, we have 19 proof of community meetups and webinars scheduled across the globe. We will continue to support and grow the Web3 community in India, and also continue to expand globally to other markets such as Nigeria, Latin America, Turkey, and more. We will continue to engage the academia community and support universities. This semester, we're sponsoring Spawn Global. We'll also be present at the Penn Blockchain Conference. We're also partnered with UT Austin, Texas Blockchain Engineering Club to support them in building applications on Shardeum. We're also working with the University of Michigan as well, who will be building and researching on how to build applications on Shardeum this semester. Before we continue, just wanted to remind you to please ask any questions you have in the comments on YouTube. And with that, I would like to introduce our senior engineers, Andrew and Amr, to take the demo forward.
All right. Hey, everybody. So I think my screen will share in just a second here. And so what I'm demoing today is the automatic access list generation. And this is a feature, so it was mentioned a little earlier that in like Liberty, 2.0, we used EIP 2930 for access list generation. And we chose that at the time because it was what allowed us to get something out in testing as soon as possible. But running the EVM in parallel is something we've been looking into ever since the very first months of Shardeum being in existence, and had been planning on this sort of thing, since 2021, the end of 2021. And so automatic access list generation is going to be, I think, welcome by a lot of people, in that it helps us figure out like what memory access patterns a smart contract is going to use just in time. And so I'll start kind of with a demo of that, where I'm actually going to turn the feature off. And so that is turned off. And so here's our network for the test today. We've got 50 nodes up. And what I'm going to do is run load test against it. I'll start that now and explain it while it goes. What this is doing is deploying, I think maybe 25 contracts or so. Actually, maybe 50, but they work in pairs because this is a test that shows composability. A smart contract call will be called to one contract, and then that contract will call another contract. And these are not necessarily located in the same shard. So this is a sharded network with, I believe, like a consensus group size of 5 and actual more like shard size of 10. So what happened is, at first we basically, the transactions going through were deploying those 25 transactions, and then just a blast of actual transactions to those contracts. And when I go back to the screen here, it's now evaluating if it was successful or not. And so I've turned automatic access list generation off for this test. And so we're seeing a fair amount of like failures. A few pass because maybe they were lucky and the smart contract call happened to have everything in the same shard when it requested this. And so that transaction was able to have consensus and be committed just kind of out of luck, really, that the data was available on the nodes involved. But more often than not, these contracts will have composability and be in different shards. And so without this access list generation pattern up front, they're going to be failing. So this will be wrapped up in just a second here. So yeah, we had 31 fail and 19 pass. So I'm going to go back to my kind of debug tool here and turn on auto generate access list. And I will run that test again. And one thing that's pretty cool about this is that it goes beyond what EIP 2930 could in terms of how aggressive we can be parallel with the EVM. So we've always been parallel with the EVM, but there's a spectrum of how aggressively parallel you can be with transactions. And it gets complicated because transactions can want to be involved with the same smart contracts. And so the automatic access list not only is it making it easy on app developers where they don't have to implement EIP 2930 up front, they can just send their transactions to the network. It's also doing more under the hood to deconflict what's going on kind of live in the network and allow things to run more aggressively parallel, which is really important for throughput and the performance of everyone's smart contracts. And so this is something we actually launched in our initial version in Liberty 2.1, and that was great because it gave us a bit of time to test this out before this big beta 1 milestone. And so while working since Liberty 2.1, we've really been focused dev-wise on the operator dashboard for the node list and final preparations to bring beta to the public. But several things have been improved on our automatic access list generation since then. And that was really all thanks to the community and our dev relations team working with the community to surface these issues. And so we've got several fixes going into beta that are just a direct result of that community engagement. So I want to say thanks to everyone that's been building on Shardeum Liberty. That's been very successful for us. And it just stopped sharing there. Yeah, so thanks everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, again, I can't say, how excited I am about automated access list generation and EIP 2930. I believe because the purpose of that network was solely for this demo. It was a small network of 50 validators, and that's why we saw some of those transactions pass. But in a realistic setting, when we have a far greater number of validators in the network and more shards, it would probably be less likely to see some of those transactions pass without EIP 2930 unless the app was specifically designed to be on the same shard as the other contracts that were being called.
Yeah.
But it's really great to see that now developers have the same developer experience as building on Ethereum or any other unsharded layer 1, but they get the benefit of
Hey, Greg. Sorry, real quick. In my excitement on that, I forgot to show the passing test results. So if my screen can come back on for a second, that would be great. All right. So if my screen is back up, basically, you saw a second ago where we were running and we had these 31 failures. So I executed the same load as before while I was kind of talking through everything and how cool it was and whatnot. Deployed all of our contracts here. Ran through the transactions, and then the validation steps, they basically check the scan values on the network to make sure they were expected values. And so when automatic access list generation was on, then 100% of those transactions passed. So sorry about missing that important detail there.
No worries. Thanks, Andrew. And yeah, as I was mentioning, just wanted to say, I think it's really amazing that, now developers have the same experience as building on an uncharted layer 1, but they get the benefit of parallel execution and sharding under the hood. And, Shardeum, the protocol itself is routing the transactions to the addresses involved in the access list that's being generated. And, developers don't need to even be aware of what's happening. So really amazing progress on that feature. With that, next up, I'd like to introduce Amr Syed, our senior engineer, who will be taking you through the GUI for node validators. Take it away, Amr.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So today I'm going to be going over another exciting thing that we've been building this quarter. Essentially a web-based dashboard for those who want to participate in the Shardeum Betanet. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And as I give you a small preview of what this dashboard will look like.
I think, unfortunately, Amr and some of our team here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are having internet issues at the moment. We're suffering from, suffering's not the right word. We have some rainy weather to add to the excitement of this demo. Andrew can take us forward with the node operator demo and or the GUI demo. And Amr, if your internet stays stable, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, so it seems we're having some technical issues here when I try to share my screen. It seems to be crashing the browser. But we will have a more in-depth walkthrough of the validator dashboard on February 2nd. Today is just going to be kind of like a quick overview of the GUI itself. If I can get this to share, I will definitely see if I can do this walkthrough.
So, Amr, I've got the dashboard up on my screen, so we can share that if you want to do the talking. Note that this is a node that's already like in the network, but I can navigate while you talk through it. Oh, looks like we got some power outages.
Hey,
So,
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, we can do it this way. So the very first tab here is an overview tab, and it's like showing some of the metrics that are most relevant to a person as a node operator. Stuff like the status of the node, how much staked SHM you have, which is kind of required in order for your node to join the network, and reward SHM, which is what you earn for having a validator be part of this network. And at the bottom there, there's a status indicator, which is kind of in the style of like some popular status page indicators where they show like the uptime of a service over a period of time. So that's kind of doing that for your node as a validator. The next tab there is performance. And this is going to be going over some of the more physical aspects of your validator, stuff like CPU, RAM, disk, network usage. So this kind of just gives you an overview of like how much load is being put on the physical resources of the validator that you're running. The next tab up is maintenance. And this is an important one because on this tab is where you start and stop the actual validator. You can also update the version of the validator that you're running there. It also has a quick overview of some of the physical stats of the physical resources under the benchmark node tab. And then it gives you an option to add or remove your stake as well from this page. So this one's kind of important. Next tab up is network. And this gives you some stats about the overall network itself. So once you've joined, it'll show you like how many validators are in the network, how many validators are on standby, things such as like what the estimated reward is, like stuff like what's the current daily issuance of SHM, and some other metrics like that. It also has an indicator for the amount of load in the network. So you can tell like, oh, how many transactions per second is the network as a whole getting, the number of transactions processed, the number of like the amount of load on the network itself as a percentage. You also have things like network health, which is like ratios of active to standby nodes, which usually should be kept around a certain like pretty constant ratio. And if that ratio is good, then the network is considered healthy. And then finally, it has a estimate for your average APR. So like some kind of return calculation that you'll get for running a node, an estimate will be shown there. All right, the next one up is the alert info tab. And this is going to be coming soon. It's still under development, but it'll have an option for you to put in your phone number or an email address and alert you when your node goes down. So you can like know right away when a validator that you're running has dropped from the network and do something to remediate that before it gets kicked out. And so this is just kind of something really useful to have. And the final tab is a settings tab. And from here, you can connect a MetaMask wallet to the dashboard itself, or any kind of like Web3 wallet, MetaMask being one of the more popular ones. But once you use this button to connect your wallet, it'll actually send a transaction, just like how you would on something like a decentralized exchange, where it asks your wallet to sign this transaction in order to stake coins to have your node join the network. And so I think Andrew has just hit the stake button. As you can see, it opened up his wallet. It's going to ask him to confirm this transaction. And once that goes through, it'll go ahead and stake the node associated with the address and the amount that Andrew has specified there for that node. But yeah, so I think that covers all the tabs in our operator dashboard. And this is like a really small preview of what hopefully you, the members of the audience, will be able to use when you want to run nodes that connect into the Shardeum Betanet.
Excellent. Great job, Amr. Yeah, Shardeum has a really big emphasis on decentralization. We want to scale as much as possible at layer 1 without sacrificing on decentralization. And so the team is doing a great job on building a GUI for validators that makes it simple and easy for anyone in the world to operate a validator. When Shardeum's mainnet launches, there will be a minimum of 1,280 validators, which is really exciting. And along with all these amazing updates, it also sounds like you leaked your upcoming techno song in the background there, Amr.
Yeah, that was we're having some power issues over here, and that's my backup battery beeping to let me know that it's taken the load from the power company.
No worries. Thanks, Amr. Back to you, Omar and Nishal.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Amir, and thanks, Andrew. I hope, yeah, I think the beep really made it was fun. I was just reading all the comments, but you know, I think we should appreciate that despite power cuts, I think we had a good demo, and you know, I can see some really amazing comments on the GUI. So I think the team has made sure that it's going to be very simple to use, because the objective was to make sure that anyone can run a node, and you know, it does not have to be complicated. So yeah, we look forward to a deeper demo during the Betanet. Greg, can you switch the slide? I can still see the folder one. Or Chandresh? Yeah. Okay. So I think the past week we've been running a vote for naming the Betanet, and looks like Sphinx has won. We got over I think close to 7,000 votes, and you know, each of us had our own favorites, but we were surprised to see that Sphinx won, and that will be the name of the Shardeum Betanet. We are going to launch it, like Omar said, we'll be launching it on the 2nd of Feb. That's just a few days from now. And we're all very excited, and I can see the excitement in the comments as well. I like to say that on the 2nd of Feb, we're also planning sort of a watch party, a Betanet launch party. And it's going to happen in 7 countries. It's a you know, IRL event, and it's going to be in 7 countries across 14 cities. I've got the name of the cities. I'll just read them out. So if you happen to be in any of these cities, please try to attend that event. You'll get to you know, mingle with others who are enthusiastic about running their own nodes on the Betanet. So these cities are Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, all of these from India. Then we go to Uyo in Nigeria, Accra in Ghana, Moscow in Russia, Medion in Indonesia, Mindanao in Philippines, Turkey, Istanbul in Turkey, Dubai, and Singapore. So 7 countries, 14 cities. We'll be having a simultaneous, live offline event while the Shardeum team demonstrates the Betanet to everyone. And I look forward to 2nd of Feb. I'll just hand this over to Omar. Omar, you want to talk something briefly about the 2nd Feb event and what you guys intend to demonstrate?
Yeah, definitely. I know this is very hugely anticipated. I know the community's been like knocking on our doors for like, when can we run validator nodes? Well, now the moment is coming up when you can do that. And 2nd of Feb is also kind of an important date because a year ago, 2nd February 2022, that's when we actually announced Shardeum officially. And so now, a year after, we're launching our Betanet, and really excited about the progress that we've made, especially with having a sharded network, but yet, to the developers and the users, it feels like you're using an unsharded network. So that's huge. You won't really understand why that's so important until you start to see like some of the other sharded networks come up and the difficulties that you'll have with those. So we're making that user experience super simple. Of course, keeping our transaction fees really low. And keeping transaction fees low is what will allow this network to be used by people all over the world, right? I mean, if you can only do a transaction, if you're able to pay like $10, $20, then that's not going to be usable by everyone. So I kind of like to think of Shardeum as like the Ahmadmi chain. So yeah, that's right.
Go for it.
So it's for the common man, right? So yeah, so and we're going to keep it that way, even as the network gets popular, transactions go up, but the fees will stay low. So on February 2nd, we're going to demo our dashboard again for you, show you how to stake your coins through it, how to see the node reward that you're getting, and how to download, set it up. The process should be very simple and easy. And yeah, so things are really going to be popping.
Amazing. So I think we're sort of done. Greg? Yeah.
Yeah, great job, guys. It's been really awesome to see all the progress Shardeum's made in Q4. And I think it's so exciting to look forward and think about 20, 30, 40 years from now when we look back on this presentation, how important all of this, sharding and parallel processing technology we're building will be, and the impact it'll have on the world. And we couldn't do all of this without the community. There's no one single person building Shardeum. We're all building it together, and it's really great to see how many people are getting involved in the Shardeum community. Speaking of the community, we have some questions that I'd like to ask you guys. Omar, the first question is, how can we set up nodes in the testnet?
It'll be very easy. So when Betanet launches, we'll have a page that guides you through the process. But essentially, your computer needs to have Docker set up. And once you have that, then there'll be like a one-liner that you run, which will download the Docker image, put it in your Docker Compose, and then start up a GUI. And then the next step will be you just go through the GUI and start up your node and stake your coins. So hopefully the process will be really easy, and we'll have documentation up there for you.
Amazing. And yeah, I'm sure over time, this will evolve also into like other third parties providing the hardware and infrastructure. So if people don't want to manage their own laptop running a validator, they could just pay in a third party in the future to do it for them. But it's great to see how easy the team is making this for anyone to run a validator. Nishal, what are the expectations of the community for 2023 based on the current market conditions?
Are you talking about the crypto markets? I think.
Yeah, just I guess
Yeah.
what
Right.
types of engagement do you expect to see from the community in the current market conditions? Do you think we'll continue to see a lot of green numbers and engagement in the Shardeum community? Do you think how will they get involved? Given the conditions in the market at the moment.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping that the last 3 months were probably the worst of this bear market, and if you look at how Shardeum has fared, you saw our slide. We've got growth in every aspect of our community, in every platform, and in terms of building, we've been able to deliver right through the bear market. And I think if that's the worst, I think only good things are going to happen now. So I expect our community to grow even faster. Simple example, I think the last update event that we had maybe 100 live participants, and we were still in a relatively good market. And right now we've seen over 1,300 people live on this event. So that's like a 10x growth in the number of participants on our quarterly update event, and I think this number is going to keep growing. So I think the reason is there are two sets of participants in crypto I've seen. One are who are only price oriented. So if the prices are going up, they're into crypto. If the prices are going down, they're not in crypto. They're not believers of blockchain. And there's this other kind which is just focused on decentralization, on building products for the blockchain ecosystem, being part of that, testing out products, giving feedback, attending meetups, meeting others who are of the same mindset of spreading decentralization. And the good thing, we've seen only those kind of people who want to build something, people who want to learn, people who want to try decentralized products, who want to teach their friends how to use it. So I won't be surprised, with the growth that we've seen, and I think this will just continue. I'm hoping we can give some even more amazing growth numbers in the next update. Not to forget the most requested, which is the Betanet, is going to come out. So maybe we should run a small contest to see what our numbers would be, and see if we can shoot those numbers by the next quarterly update. But yeah, overall, I'm really optimistic. I think we are off to a great start in 2023, both for Shardeum and the crypto ecosystem. And let's hope we continue to grow.
Absolutely. I think based on the metrics we've seen over the past quarter, we can forecast that we'll certainly continue to grow. A lot of the announcements we'll be making and the on-chain activities and campaigns we'll be running. I'll take the next question. It's about, there are so many layer ones in other platforms. So what's our strategy in immediate and ongoing plans to continue to onboard new projects to the ecosystem and, form new partnerships? The first thing I'll say is the reason we're building Shardeum is because Nishal, while operating WazirX, noticed that people in emerging markets are still primarily buying Bitcoin and Ethereum on centralized exchanges and not withdrawing it to a decentralized platform like a blockchain because the transaction fees are too high. But most users in Web3 will come from emerging markets where they're suffering from inflation and can access a stable currency and generate wealth and have access to the global financial ecosystem countries in Africa and Latin America and across the world. And so Shardeum is going to be the first layer one that can keep transaction fees low, no matter how many transactions there are. And so we're doing a really great job of growing our community and improving the network effect of Shardeum to give developers access to users. It's been amazing to see applications deploy on Shardeum and within just 1 month acquire 10 to 15,000 users. It doesn't really take a lot of effort for us to continue to grow the ecosystem because we have proprietary innovation with our technology where we can enable parallel execution using dynamic state sharding and not sacrifice on decentralization or the developer experience, while also having great community growth and access to users. To continue to grow the ecosystem, we are growing our business development team. We're reaching out to projects every day. We currently have about 80 to 90 projects in our pipeline who are actively building and getting ready to deploy on Shardeum. We'll continue to sponsor more hackathons. In the future, we're excited about launching a grants fund to support developers and projects who have made measurable progress in our ecosystem. These are just a few of the ways we're approaching ecosystem and partnership growth and why there's a need for Shardeum. Omar, this question's for you. The light paper indicates that the mainnet will be on, will have a proof of stake and proof of quorum consensus mechanisms. And the question is, how can proof of stake be on a GPU?
Yeah, so I mean, actually, Shardeum isn't really designed for using GPUs or ASICs or anything like that. So that's typically useful when you have proof of work and you're doing a lot of hashing. So, if you have a GPU on your computer, it's really not going to help. We're building Shardeum so that you can run it on any old, common standard off-the-shelf computer and possibly even like a Raspberry Pi. And so that affords us, the highest level of decentralization when end users don't need to buy any specialized hardware and they can just run these nodes and join the network from home. That was Satoshi's original vision. He designed Bitcoin so that people can download it and run it on their local computers. And of course, things kind of got less and less decentralized over time. But, the way we're designing Shardeum is that we'll try to maintain that high level of decentralization that was Satoshi's original vision.
Amazing. Sometime your vision is so clear and inspiring, Omar, that I think you may be Satoshi yourself. Here's another question for you, Omar. Will the Betanet be on a single RPC, or does the developer community need to test two different chains, like Shardeum 1.x and 2.x?
No, so Betanet will be just a single chain. And a single RPC, single explorer. The reason why we had two for AlphaNet was because we wanted to have one version that was unsharded and another version that was sharded. So with the sharded version, initially it required some effort on the developers to create EIP 2930 type transactions and submit them. With the unsharded version, you didn't need to do anything special. You could just, submit deploy your contracts, put up your front end, and just use it directly. Now, the awesome thing about this Betanet is that you can just deploy your contracts, deploy your front end, and use it pretty much as is without doing hardly any effort on the front end. Because now that we've done the automatic access list generation feature, it takes care of the fact that underneath there's EIP 2930 dirty transactions being created and submitted. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think a lot of the work you guys are putting in is to make, as we've mentioned numerous times, to make sharding, a smooth, hidden, abstracted experience from developers. And that's one of the issues we've seen with existing sharded chains today is, there's chains out there where each shard has its own RPC, and, that creates a lot of issues. It's awesome that, Shardeum is one network with one RPC, and it's as easy as building on an unsharded network, but you get the benefits of parallel processing, low fees forever, and atomic composability. One more question for you, Omar. What do you think about security structure for smart contracts? Are SHM blocks irrevocable proofs?
Yeah. So definitely, we have the same level of immutability as any blockchain. The key difference is that we're processing transactions without grouping them into any data structure like a block or a DAG, and then we do the blocking afterward, and so yeah, it'll provide the same level of security as any blockchain.
Amazing. I know we're 2 minutes over time. I'll ask 2 more questions and then we'll wrap up the call. Omar, what are the minimum requirements for running a validator during Betanet?
So yeah, we haven't really hashed that out in detail, but I mean, we've been running it with computers that have had, a couple of CPUs, a couple gigs of memory, and so on. Now, initially, using even very low resources will work, but as more data gets created and more contracts are deployed, more accounts are there on the network, it will require more memory and storage, but not to the level of like keeping all of your transactions on disk like we do with like Ethereum and a lot of these other networks. So one of the nice things with Shardeum is that we push off all of that historical data onto the archive servers, and your validator nodes only need to keep the current state data. So yeah, we'll have to figure out exactly what the requirements will be like, but it'll be way easier than running like a full node on Ethereum. And I'm figuring like if you were to rent a server, $50 to $100 a month is probably going to be enough to run a server that can join the Shardeum network.
Awesome. What was the name you referred to Shardeum's testnet as again? What was the name you used? About 10 minutes
The
ago.
Sphinx?
The common man's blockchain.
Oh, okay. So that's so there's a party in India, like a political party.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the
Aam
name.
Aadmi thing, but it stands for like common man. Aam Aadmi.
Amagmi, amazing. Yeah, I
Right.
think
So yeah,
we're all
Aam
about
Aadmi chain.
Amagmi, keeping the cost of validators low, keeping the transaction fees low. Everything is about decentralization, low cost, affordability, and making this usable for everyone. Final question is for Nishal. Nishal, you've had so much success in your career, and so many people look up to you as a leader, and they would like to achieve a similar level of success in their life. And people see great opportunity here with Shardeum. How can they take advantage of being a member of this community, whether as a community member or a developer, to make an impact in the world, in the Shardeum ecosystem, and advance their life? What would you suggest?
Yeah, I see a lot of opportunities. To start with, I think the simplest is, with the Betanet, you could run a node, and it's open for everyone. And I think that's probably the first step towards participating in the entire Shardeum network. But even before that, I think what we are seeing, and we are seeing a lot of people, like I said, we've got 100 plus contributors now, and these are people who are really enthusiastic about spreading the knowledge of Shardeum, helping grow the Shardeum community. So you can do the same. You can contribute to our blog posts. You can make videos about Shardeum. In fact, I think with the Betanet launch, you could the simplest idea in my mind is you could just make some videos making it easy for people to run their nodes, tutorials on how to run a node. You could also create your own little community around Shardeum. Now, if you look at let's look at Bitcoin and let's look at Ethereum. Some of the best successes have emerged from there, where I know people who just started off as a blog and that transformed into a multi-million-dollar company. There are people who just started a Telegram channel, and today they're earning hundreds of thousands of dollars because of that. Why? Because they were early on Bitcoin, they were early on Ethereum. And here with Shardeum, you have a similar opportunity. You're early. And if you start building now, as we go towards the mainnet, you continue to grow with us. So I think the key is, I think the fact that someone is asking a question, they're already early at out here. So the first step is done. You're early. You're part of the Shardeum community. Now you need to decide what you're good at and start building towards that. If you're good at writing, start a blog. If you're good at videos, start a YouTube channel about Shardeum. Maybe start talking about what is being built, what are the different dApps. If you're a developer, you can build a dApp on Shardeum. There are so many opportunities, but I think the key is to be early, and the best part is you're all early right now. While we have 400,000 plus users, but there are over 100 million users to be acquired. So if you think about it, you're in that less than 1% of the early movers of Shardeum. So yeah, I think the opportunities are endless. Just try to find your key strength and try to combine that with Shardeum. And we are all here to help. Whatever you're building, I try to retweet. I think a lot of our team members, they all share interesting updates being written by others about Shardeum. So we are all here. Maybe ping me on Twitter. I'll retweet if you're building something on Shardeum. Happy to help all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the key takeaways are everyone's early, find what you're good at, and just start building. I think looking back at your previous success, I know, some of your success started with meeting your founders. There's great networking opportunities in the Shardeum ecosystem. Attend a proof of community meetup, meet other founders looking to build something, and start building with them. We're already seeing growth in even just people who like writing and are writing media, building media outlets like Shardeum News or Shardeum Times or Shardeum India, Shardeum Africa. These channels are getting thousands of followers, and this following and audience is very valuable. So there's so many opportunities for everyone. And Nishal, as you mentioned, we're all here to support each other and grow together. The Shardeum Foundation will do everything we can to support you. Nishal, Omar, any final comments before we wrap up?
I'm excited about 2nd of Feb. That's my final comment.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. And I just want to, thank the community for, all that you guys are doing to, grow us, grow the community, keep us excited. Seeing your feedback and excitement kind of helps us build off of that and, want to build even better things. So, yeah, thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Let's enable decentralization for everyone.